Righty, on today's podcast, we had Jaden come on. So, Jaden is an Australian up and coming rapper, and when I say that, he actually is. Just see all the work he's put in, what he's actually achieved in a very short, in actually over the last 6 months. I shouldn't say short time because he's been at it for a couple of years now, as we spoke about in the podcast, and all that. Like, I love his motivation, his enthusiasm, and all that. It was a fantastic chat. I've got inspiration out of it. I went and done a few things as well out of that inspiration. So, yeah, I hope this episode inspires you and all the rest like it did with me. And hope you enjoyed today's episode, guys.
Man, we're on, man. We are having a
Yeah,
brilliant
live.
conversation beforehand. But yeah, welcome to the show officially, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. It's a privilege and an honor. I'm happy to be here.
More than welcome, man. Yeah, dude. So we could cover a lot. So you're just about to go on tour. If you've made a few big Spotify playlists, there's much we could go on.
Yeah.
So you're Australia's like one of Australia's up and coming rappers, which I actually can agree with this one. So you hear a lot of people talk about it and you're like, you sure? And then I see you and the work you put in and the stuff you've started to achieve. And I'm like, this dude is keeping to his word.
Hey, I did. I shouted it out to the universe even at the start of the year. Like I quit a full-time job. I was on like 120K a year. I was a team leader at this sales job. And one day I walked into the office and said to my boss, I was like, look, I know I can make you money, but it's not here on the phones doing this. Like I'm handing in my 2 weeks notice right now and I'm going to do music full time. Like I'm not even making money through music right now, but it's doing something for me, doing something that I believe in. That's worth more than, a couple bucks. So I did that, and then I started releasing music. And I did say at the start of the year on all my social media platforms and whatnot, I said, I'm going to be one of the biggest artists in the country. Just watch me. Like you watch the work I'm going to put in, you watch the drive and the hustle mentality that I've got, and the amount of music that I've been working on. Like if I've just been doing the math, bro, like with the repetitions and with the quality and with the consistency, it's just bound to happen. But that obviously my music being polished now has come from all the hard work I've put in the last 10 years. So just stoked for these things that have just started to happen, like added to that Spotify playlist. Absolute trip, bro. I saw a statistic like 66,000 odd songs get uploaded to Spotify every day. And not all of those get pitched to the Spotify editorial playlist curators, but I upload my songs about a month in advance. You get to, if you do that a few weeks before the song actually goes live, you get the opportunity to pitch your song to the Spotify editorial playlist curators. And you can basically type whatever you want. You can break down what the song means to you, break down what you plan to promote it as. Like you can say whatever you want. So I write up a little biography about it. And I've done that with every song I've uploaded to Spotify. Apart from 2020, when I dropped a new song every week, it was hard to upload a month in advance. I was uploading like 4 days before it went live. At that point, I was just fucking working, run off my feet. But yeah, this one fucking caught, man, and I can't believe it. This Spotify playlist got like fucking like 84,000 followers or some shit. And that song that got added to that just reached 1,000 plays in just over a week, and that's the fastest any of my songs have done. So I'm happy as fuck. I'm stoked as fuck with that, bro. It's like just feels like a bit of a pat on the back. Like, well done, you finally got one.
Yes. And as you said, man, you've been at it for like a good 10 years. And this is what a lot of people don't see with, I guess, all their favorite music artists, celebrities, sports people. They don't see this grind behind for 10 years to get where you want to be. For examples like Michael Jordan doing those shuttle runs at say 3 a.m. in the morning, or shooting, 2 hours after, I guess, a training session. And so there's just repetitions, as you said, that put in that, create the domino effect as we were talking about before to help to get where you want to go.
Yeah. It's Yeah, everybody wants to be at the after party, you know what I mean? They don't want to be in the gym with you,
No.
grinding and doing all that. So yeah, I mean, a quote that I love and that helps me get going is not everybody can be in that top 1%,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but that's where I'm headed. That's where I plan to be. And the only way to get there is by putting in the work. And I've got absolutely no issue putting in that work. I was putting in that work for a dream I didn't believe in. So now that I've got something that I do believe in that is my baby, there's absolutely zero things in this universe that could stop me getting where I'm going.
That's it. I love how you say that too, because that's what a lot of people don't realize. We put maximum effort into stuff that we don't believe in. But then when it comes to
Mm,
stuff we do believe in, it's like, we, flake out, don't put as much effort in. And
yeah.
it's crazy because when you think about it, see, we can be successful at things we don't like. Imagine if you did something you do like, because that intrinsic drive, man, is just always there for stuff that you like.
Facts. Yeah, it's like for our job, we've got a boss, we've got a boss hounding at us to meet KPIs and shit like that. But
Mhm.
then when it comes to your own side hustles or something like that, you're lazy with it because you've got nobody pushing you.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, fuck. I used to be the same. I was obviously a lot younger since I adopted this mentality, but yeah, at, at some point along the way, I just got sick of my own shit. And I was like, I just got to put the work in and stop being a little bitch. Stop saying I can't be bothered or stop saying I'm too tired. Like, yeah, fuck. Doing that sales job where I was working 70 hours a week, that really taught me to, you know, to to really discover my work ethic because nobody really enjoys doing 70 hours a week. And
Mm-mm.
I'd never done sales before either. So I had to I had to like make a game out of it.
Mhm.
I had to I I strive to be the best in that fucking office. There was a guy above me that was always better because he's a freak of nature. He's just really good at what he does. But yeah, after being the worst in the office, nearly getting sacked because I just couldn't understand how to sell this product. I had like 2 weeks left before they were going to sack me. Apparently, that's what they were saying. That's what management told me anyway. I had like 2 weeks left before they were going to sack me, or maybe one, and it just clicked. All of a sudden, clicked because I just put in so much work trying to get to that point, and that's what made me realize, fuck, yeah, I became the second best salesman in the office after like a few months, and then I got promoted to a team leader. I'd never done any of that shit before, but it's just my mentality that they saw potential in that I'd adopted to become the best in the office, and that's when as soon as I got to the top in the office, that's when I got like real depressed. I was like, fuck, I've been doing this for how long now? Like 10 months, and I've gotten to the top and I'm making good money, but I don't have time for music. And the reason I got this job was so I could make money so I could pour it into music. And now my vision's been distorted. I've put all my energy into the wrong direction and I've gotten really far in it, but I've made no improvements and taken no steps with the music. So that's when I realized, like, if I can put all this effort in to something I don't even believe in, fuck, I'm gonna become one of the biggest artists in the country. That's when it really clicked to me that yeah. And since October, since I quit that job, bro, I've spent all day every day in this fucking studio. We're in the studio now, and man, I see this room more than I see my friends, more than I see my family, anybody. Fuck, it's like it's become a job. It's not just sitting in a room. It's not just like waking up and putting an instrumental on and making music and having fun with the process like it used to be. Now it's turned. I'm business minded now, so I'm trying to figure out how I can scale this music into a bit of a lifestyle for me, and that requires a lot of research and a lot of
Mhm.
reps. Not just sitting here making songs, listening to music. That's fuck. I can't wait to get back to that point when I've established a bit of a base. But I know the hard work it's gonna take until I can get to a spot where I'm actually comfortable with maybe taking my foot off the gas for a second. But at this point in time, I've got a lead foot and I'm barely fucking sleeping and I'm just making this shit happen, bro. It's like
Well, that's it. It's
Crazy.
the repetitions that even to do what you love, there is stuff, elements to it that you're not going to like doing at all. Like,
Mm.
and that's what a lot of people, that's when people, take the step out because they stop doing something they're passionate about because they realize the elements, there's so many more elements to it than, say, for example, just making music. You got to work out how to
Yeah.
sell your music. You got to work out how to get performances, all this kind of stuff behind the scenes that
Mm.
no one talks about.
Yeah, yeah. A marketing guy that I watched on YouTube, he was saying it's because I haven't got a team or anything. Like I'm just this one man army, just doing my best, and it's going all right now. So I can't wait till I can really develop a solid team, and take it to that next level, really scale that shit. But I was listening to this marketing guy trying to learn the tricks of the trade, and he's saying with all these little things that you need to do, it's going to be painful. Like there was a time where I was waking up, like I have music. Now I got to figure out how to market myself. This was maybe January, maybe January. I'm waking up every day, jumping in the office or the studio, and I'm just YouTubing marketing strategies, fucking how to scale and all that. Watching these videos all goddamn day, taking notes, trying to apply it to trying to apply it to my stuff, uploading to Instagram, checking to see what works, checking to see what doesn't get as good as a reaction, and just doing all that, testing the theories as well as learning them. And my head was aching by the end of the day because it's just all this new information coming in that I've never even thought about, never even thought close to, and I'm basically rewiring my brain to think a totally different way
Mm-hmm.
every day. It's like when you start a new job
Neuroplasticity.
and yeah, starting a new job or anything like that where it fucking hurts in the beginning, but then it becomes second nature. So him saying that, it definitely went a long way for, I always knew it was going to be hard work and not easy, but it was starting to really hurt my head, like just having to learn every day. But yeah, him saying that this pain point right here, it's going to be painful in the beginning, but it's just going to become second nature. And that sort of kept some wind in my sails and kept me showing up every day and knowing that it was all going to be worth it.
That's it. And spot on with what he was saying too, because as much as you got the excitement there at the start of anything, you also got that
Mm,
pain bit. So you got all these emotions running through. It's like, can I do it? You got the excitement, the drive, then you hit the pain threshold and you're like, well, is this, got to work, or, this is a bit
mm,
overbearing of trying to learn all this new stuff. And it would be the same as anyone, I guess, as you're saying, starting a new job, apprenticeship, studying or anything like that. You have to put on those hours or 10,000 hours before it just starts, spiraling for you.
yeah. Before the cogs even start to turn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So it's been fun and it's been painful. Um, it's been growth to say the
Mm-hmm.
least.
Yeah, that's it. Where would you say, that drive comes from?
That's a good question, man. Um, I guess just I've always like felt different from the pack. Like I've never had a pack mentality. And uh even like going through high school, like I never had like a real solid friend group. I was a bit of a drifter, especially towards the end there. Really rebellious. Um I used to smoke a lot of weed in high school, which in hindsight wasn't the best move for me. I wasn't interested in school, so that sort of took the steering wheel. That was sort of my favorite hobby. And I copped a bit of ridicule at school for it, but it didn't deter me. Like it sort of encouraged me, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so when I started doing some raps, I was listening to a lot of Big L, listening to Eminem. I grew up listening to Eminem, I think, as every white boy did. Um, any white rapper anyway, or I don't know, but yeah, I fucking I started copping a lot of ridicule for smoking at school. So I thought, oh, you're judging me now? All right, well, I'm going to release a rap song about me smoking weed and me not giving a fuck that you think I care about smoking weed, So there was like, I think it's just always been this like rebellious streak in me that wants to prove everybody wrong, I guess, you know. But yeah, as far as drive goes, it definitely started off like that, just being rebellious and wanted to like go against the crowd and prove them all wrong and do all that. But now now I just want my future to be better than my past. And all that requires is discipline and hard work. You know, I've been in some pretty low lows. I've been pretty fucking low in my time. Like suicidal, depression, all that fun stuff. I've been there, and for good reason. Like shit sucked. But
Mm-hmm.
now I'm in this position because I didn't want to live like that anymore. I didn't want to feel like that anymore. And obviously didn't feel amazing straight away. Like there's always a process to it, and there's always time that passes of consistency before you're going to feel different. But when I realized that every little step counts, I figured, fuck, I've been thinking short term all this time. Like, where can I get my fucking, I've got $20. I can go get a feed or I can go get some weed. I'm getting some weed. Fuck eating. You know, I want to feel stoned. I want to get that immediate response to my actions. But as soon as I started thinking a bit more long term, when I started traveling a bit after high school, I started realizing, yeah, I don't have to be anything. I can be whatever the fuck I want. So I started just believing in myself and my actions, and now I'm driven to be the best version of myself and provide the best life for my future kids. And I just, yeah, I don't want my kids to struggle like I did. So I'm going to work my fucking ass off to get to a point where I can provide everything and break those generational. Like my parents were split up from, I wasn't even one before they split up. So it's always been a bit of a broken home arrangement. But yeah, I'm just driven to create the very best future for myself, my family, and anything else that may arise.
That's it, man. It's like, that's it. And I do relate to that story a lot as well, because it's like, you know, when you are battling with like even myself, bit of suicide, addiction, depression, and all the rest of it, and you just hit that point, you just get sick of it. And it's like, because you see, I guess I've always been super self-aware as well. And it's like I just took that step back. And it's like, as you said, as we're talking about before, it's like with the, you know, directions you can take. If I keep taking this path, this is where I'm going to end up. But if I decide to take 2 steps or a step that way, that's when my path will get better in the future, that I want to be, how I want to feel. And that's how, like, I guess life changes by taking the steps in that direction.
Absolutely. It's hard at the start because you're not seeing any of that instant gratification. You're not seeing any of those direct results. But I think going to the gym is a really good, like, I've been working out since I was 20. I used to be skinny as hell because like I said before, I'd skip meals for some weed, bro. It was not a great idea. So yeah, at like fucking 17, I was like 57 kilos, bro. I was so skinny. But started working out about 20, and it's just such a good metaphor to life. Like, you're not going to see results in the first week, in the first month. You're not going to see anything, but little bit by little bit, as you keep being consistent, showing up and not seeing a direct impact when you look in the mirror. And I've just lifted a weight for a week. I've just lifted weights for a week straight, and I don't even have abs yet. Like, it's not like that. It's like, I've just lifted weights and done sit-ups for a year straight, and now I can start to see my abs.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's such a good metaphor for life.
Because Simon Sinek talks about this. So Simon's, if anyone doesn't know, is like a leadership coach, expert in that field. And that's what he talks about. He talks about it in, say, like the gym aspect, as you're talking about. He also talks about it in the relationship aspect as well. And he goes, there's no like set timeline of when you fall in love with someone. It just happens over time after, like, I guess, the repetitiveness of just slowly working at something. And that's when, you know, you start seeing results.
Fair. That's fair to say.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what's like one of the biggest, I guess, whys behind your music, apart from, I guess, what we're talking about then?
One of the biggest whys is music's really helped me. Like it's helped me keep a level of sanity. Like it's such a good release, no matter what's going on. Um, J. Cole says it in one of his songs. He says, and even on these lonely nights, his mic will be your friend. You tell it all your secrets that you're keeping deep within, something or else. But as an artist, as a musician, everybody that's a musician knows that it's such a good release. You know, some people write in a diary or a journal where we can just jump in the studio, put an instrumental on, and just make a song that comes straight from the heart. And it feels amazing to get it out. And then when other people can resonate with how you feel and the art that you create, when other people enjoy that and resonate with it, and if it helps them, such an amazing feeling. Really, I've had people tell me that my music helps them and that I'm the reason that they started rapping and all this other stuff like that. And it's such a fulfilling feeling. And I've always really enjoyed giving to people and expecting nothing in return. It's just, it makes me feel good. I feel like that's my purpose, to give back and to help people. And I can do that through my music, just touching on my experiences and, and the experiences that I've had. Like I've had a fair few different experiences to what a lot of people might go through, and the fact that they can see it from the other side, maybe adopt a bit of perspective and not be so judgmental so quickly, and for other people that are going through similar stuff like that to know that they're not alone. And yeah, I try and make light out of dark situations, bro. That's I think another big reason why, you know, these bad things do happen, but you know, now it's like, yeah, they're always going to happen, and life is fucking hell on earth, so they say, but we can create a heaven within our own perspective and within our own mentality. So yeah, just why? I'm just trying to help everyone as music's helped me, bro. It's
I think that's
special.
with, as much as all, I guess, all these different endeavors are generally, you know, you're doing it for yourself, but as much as you're doing it for other people that are at the start of their journey, because you didn't have, as I think we spoke about this before we jumped on air, it's like we just, you know, you didn't have that person to inspire you, and you just want to be that person that was in the same shoes that you were in to inspire them to change. Because a quote that popped in my head when talking about that, it's like, you can't be what you can't see. And it's like, you know, you're creating like these changes and explaining your story and sharing your story through music and that, and people realize like, hey, I was in his position, I'm in his position right now, I can do what he's doing, he's done it, so can I.
Yeah, no, exactly right, bro. Fucking A. That's a really good way to put it. And that's basically what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I've left my whole catalog up. I know a lot of artists, when they're starting to, like, when they rebrand or do something else of that nature, they like go back through their catalog and take everything off the internet. Like, oh, that's my young stuff. You don't want to hear that. That doesn't align with, you know, where I'm headed or what I'm doing now. I'm just gonna leave my stuff up forever, because it signifies where I was at and where I came from. Like, I wasn't handed shit, bro. Um, and my mentality's just grown over time, and that definitely comes through in my music. Yeah, but as I was saying before it was just pure rebellion. You know, now it's just, I don't know, trying to inspire. Yeah, I guess that's polar opposite.
It's funny how that works
It'll
because a lot
work.
of the time is it does start with rebellious, that's that initial drive to do something. You listen to a lot of
Mm.
people's stories, they started off, in that rebellious state, and then it all suddenly transforms into inspiring other people. And as you're saying as well, it's like it's cool that you want to leave everything up there to show the people the journey of where you come from. And I think that's something I spoke about this really early on when I started this podcast. That I was going to leave everything up from the start, all the podcasts from right beginning, all the videos that I did from the start, the stuff I was talking about. Like if a lot of people watched my journey in the last couple of years, like from what I talk about at the very start to what I speak about now is very different
Mm.
because of the experiences and the learnings that have happened over the years and that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, it's just putting in those reps, bro, and the fact that we can, like, with what we do, it's sort of an easy way to document everything just by doing what we do.
Mhm.
It's like creating a giant archive of where we've been without
That's
trying.
that's it. And like as much as like I guess the internet has its downsides and all that, but that's the brilliant thing of the internet these days. You have a massive archive up there to show everyone where you come from and how much you transform in life and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's very powerful, and I think a lot of kids that are coming up trying to figure out what they're going to do. This day and age is so different from
Hmm.
when we were coming up as kids. It's like all we had was what school told us and what our parents told us.
Yeah, because
And we also sorry, go on.
I was going to say because we didn't really have a lot of inspiring videos. I guess when we were growing up, it was more. I guess YouTube was more for comedy. Well,
Yeah, well, there was that fucking badger, 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 snake, snake, whatever that fucking song was.
yeah.
That was the forefront of the internet for me at that time.
Hmm.
Just some fucking badger fucking video cartoon. I don't know. The OGs will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, nowadays there's so much information out there that we didn't have access to. It's like a lot of the influencers, sure, like Gary V or people of that nature, a lot of people agreeing that like school has become obsolete. College has become obsolete. You don't need to put yourself into a miserable amount of debt just to get a fucking certificate that says you know your shit. Because these days you can learn everything that you need to know for free on the internet. It's
Hmm.
all there. It's all there. The biggest hive of information is right there at our fingertips. Just did a Google search, and these kids have got. You see the kids these days, bro. They're making fucking millions off NFTs and shit.
Hmm.
Like just making like little JPEGs in their room, like after their parents tell them to go to bed, and next minute they're paying all the bills. it's, it's
Even
like
Twitch and that as well. I think Gary Vee was talking about this as well. He goes, how we're going through the mass resignation at the moment. He goes, wait
yeah
until we go through the mass non-application. It's like it's
yeah
gonna happen because there's no incentive to be at work.
100%. There's just so many ways to make money these days and to make a
Mhm.
living. Like even in music, man, it's like a decade ago, if you weren't signed to a label, you had no chance.
Mhm.
No chance of making it. But nowadays, Russ has supplied the blueprint for all of us artists. That it just requires consistency and making the right connections in the game, and you can do this all yourself. You don't need a record label. Record label's basically just a bank. But
He
yeah,
talks about that a
10
lot
years,
as well.
yeah, bro. 10 years ago, record labels were the only way to distribute your music everywhere. But nowadays, you can do everything yourself. This isn't just music related. Nowadays, you can literally do everything yourself, no matter what it is. So these
Hmm.
kids have got such a different direction to go in nowadays. So, yeah.
Pretty much. And I really loved to like Russ's book and It's All in Your Head and his grind up
Mm.
to the where he is now and how he just trusted the process. And like I think one of the things he started off making I think it was beats or something like that before he even got into rapping. if I'm correct
Yeah,
there.
he didn't think he could rap.
Mm.
He thought he sounded terrible on the mic, and he was just making beats for his friend Boogers,
Mm.
um, who he still makes music for. But yeah, you just never know until you try. Hey, that's the perfect example of, if you don't believe in yourself and back yourself, you'll never be nothing. And he did that, and now he's everything. Now he's everything he could have been, and yeah,
Yeah,
only
definitely.
growing.
Well, since
He's
we're on the
such an
top,
inspiration for me, bro.
uh, definitely is. Even if you're not in the music industry, I highly suggest to follow his work and read his book
Yeah, bro.
Inside Your Head. Like that is, I think the audio book's like 2 hours long. It's a very little book, but it's so much insight in that little book.
100%. I smashed it out. And the best part is it's in his voice as well. So it's straight out of his mouth. It's
Yeah.
not, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
Yeah, I think another, since we're talking about Russ and his little book, let's talk about trust in the universe and how
Hey.
you've learned to trust it in the process of it.
Well, that's definitely a relationship that needs building.
Yeah.
The relationship with the universe, especially when you realize we are the universe, and that all the energy that we put out is basically the energy that we get back, in a sense.
Mhm.
So trusting in the universe is trusting in your gut feeling, in my mind. You know, trusting in your gut feeling, doing what's right, doing what feels right, and not waiting for the result. Not like sending something out and then being like, what's coming back? What's it going to be? You know, I think trusting in the universe is just doing the thing, moving on. The results will start to accumulate. Before you know it, everything you've put out into the universe has grown something. Has like grown this it's definitely not a physical thing. It's just like a feeling. It's like it's like a contagious thing that just happens, you know. The more that you put out into the universe in a certain direction, the more it just starts to cultivate, and the opportunities start to come from here, there, and everywhere. And yeah, it's you've just got to keep knocking on the door until it opens.
Oh,
And that's
definitely spot on with that, man. You got to keep going. And that's how you build confidence, man. It's taking the action, pulling the energy into it, putting it out there, and then taking action. And then as you're slowly taking action with things, that's how you build that self-confidence,
100%,
because you
bro.
start getting that feedback. It's like, okay, this
Yeah,
kind of worked out. This didn't work out. Okay, I'll try a different way, this way. And then you start navigating, creating the path to where you want to go.
100%. A lot of people get caught up in the thinking part of it, and they're like, I've got to come up with the best idea ever. And if it's not the best idea ever, I can't do it because I want to be the best and I'm perfect and everything. That doesn't exist. That
No,
doesn't fucking exist, man. So
no.
you just got
And
to keep putting stuff out. Keep
100%.
taking action.
That's definitely agree with that, man. And like, as like because I've been so big into psychology and that as well, is that I know with my personality type, I'm a big thinker and I like to think my way through things. And it's like, when, even like, this is for anyone listening as well, it's like when I started taking action, that's when I realized I can do it. Instead of trying to thinking my way through it, it's like taking that action. When you think of something, if you can't take action right down in that second, write a little note. So then you got the time to take that action. Like I've got heaps of reminders on my phone when I need to do stuff. It's like, if I can't do it right now, say if I'm at work or something, it's like, all right, put a note down, take action then when you have the time.
Yeah, for sure. I I wake up every day and I write a little to-do list. I was told not to try and overdo it. Like I watch a lot of YouTube content creators.
Mhm,
You know, food for thought, we are what we eat. So
mhm.
I'm only trying to retain information and entertainment that is gonna help me grow mentally or spiritually. I love that shit. So I wake up every day, write a to-do list. I fucking overload myself. Like You know, I put so much shit on my to-do list every day. I do have a lot going on right now, so I sort of do have to put in a lot of time for all the things that I'm trying to achieve right now. I'm not like gonna half-ass anything, but if I load myself up with tasks, I'm definitely not gonna be distracted by fucking, oh, I wish I could party, wish I could take a day off or something like that. No, I've
Yeah.
just got stuff that I really care about that I'm doing that makes me feel great by doing those tasks.
Yeah.
Like that feeling you get from ticking that off. Like, I really needed to do this and I did it and now I'm better for it. So I go through every day, write that list. And if I don't get through that list in the day, um, I'll get through the majority of it and I'll push my limits. But if I physically can't, then it's a tomorrow thing with everything else that I'll be doing. But I still load that fucker up so that I can push my own limits, because we're only limited by our own beliefs, really. Like, maybe I could complete every task every day. It's only my inner bitch calling and going, bro, just lay down, just do something, just relax. But I try my hardest not to, because I know all those 1% accumulate, and I want to be. What did Elon Musk say? He's like, how can I achieve my 10-year goal in 6 months? Well, that's by putting in mass action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people be like, oh, I'll try and do these things, like one of two things every week. What if I do one of two things every 6 hours or something like that?
Yeah.
You know, because it's achievable. We just have to sit down. But a lot of us want our leisure time. A lot of us want to relax. We want to, you know, go out drinking and let the steam off, or whatever that is. I've definitely been there. But that's before I discovered the powers of the universe and the laws and how it works. You get rewarded by the action that you put in. So, okay, I'm going to take immediate sacrifices now to get long-term major rewards later. It's pretty simple science if you look at it like that.
Definitely, man. And this reminds me of a little video I was watching the other week. Oh, this dude was saying, he goes, when you think of the stuff that you need to do, you don't generally feel good before you do it, but you feel good after you do it. And say for like, you want to go out and drink and that you feel amazing before you go do it and you're excited, but you feel like shit the next day. And the aim is to feel good after what you do, not before.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
that's something. That's profound.
Yeah.
There you go. That makes sense to me, man. Yeah, I was sick of feeling like shit. I feel better completing a task than I do getting on the piss all night. Even taking home a bird. Like, I still feel better completing these tasks. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need that instant gratification. I used to chase it, and I used to love that shit, but now I swear, like, I've become a bit of a monk, and I want to work. Like, all those cheap thrills, they don't really excite me anymore.
Definitely know what you mean with that, man. All right, I'm going to wrap it up on this question, man. What is
Cool.
3 insights would you give to someone that's just starting to chase their dream?
Three insights. Okay. Number one is do it. Just do it. Just do it. You don't have to come up with this master plan of how it's going to work. Definitely do your, like, study. Don't just like go into it blind. Definitely figure out what you're trying to do and how to do it best. But don't sit back and never take action because you haven't come up with the perfect strategy. Because the only way you're going to really learn how to best do what you're trying to do is by trying to do it and then learning along the way. You know, that's when you'll come up with the insights for yourself, is when you put in that action and learn as you go and get smarter as you get results, because you need to analyze those results and then take action on top of those results to receive more results. That's only going to happen if you do it. You know, you can get all the advice in the world from everybody, but until you do it, you're never going to get any results. You're never going to get anywhere. So just do it. Stop holding it off like you've probably been doing. Whoever's listening, whoever needed to hear that, just do it. Just fucking do it. So that's number one. Number two insight is be your own biggest critic. Don't worry about what other people say about what you're doing. Like, if you believe this is your life, like this is your life and no one else's, everybody else is going to have their idea of how you should be living your life. Unless you're like very self-destructive, then don't listen to yourself. But if you're trying to do the best you can for yourself, which I think you should, it'll definitely pay off in the long run. You should follow your own gut and become your own biggest critic. Other people will, critique you and be like, that doesn't work, or that's not going to work, or this is bullshit. And then there's going to be other people that are like, you're amazing for what you've done. And this is what you're doing is amazing. Your content's great. And this is the best. And you're the best. And you're going to be one of the best. You're going to have that talk from both sides. Something Gary Vee said, which sticks with me, is like, don't believe the haters, because there's always going to be them, because they're probably jealous of what you're doing because they're too scared to take action. If other people are talking shit about what you're doing, they're doing nothing for themselves. That's just how it works. They're just sitting back and critiquing. They're a part of the audience. They're not on the stage. They're not trying to be there. It's just too easy to sit back and critique it. It's like, yeah, but you'll have people that talk shit about your stuff. Disregard them. Doesn't matter. It's going to be haters everywhere. If you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong, apparently. But then you're going to have people that glorify what you're doing. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe what they're saying. When they try and like inflate your ego or whatever like that, don't believe that. Like, don't listen to it. Take it as a compliment, 100%. I appreciate any feedback that I get, 100%. That doesn't mean I'm going to take everything to heart. Like, I know what I'm capable of, and I know how I feel about myself and my work, and that's all that matters. I try to not believe the hype when, of course, I say like, I'm going to be one of the biggest artists in the country. Well, that's a really stern belief that I have, and nobody else instilled that belief in me but me. So that's just where I'm at with everything. Don't believe the hype, and fuck the negative haters. Fuck the negativity. Just focus on your own mission, your own path. And the sooner you start, the better. Insight 3. The quality of what you do, the quality that you have, you should always be trying to one up that. And when it comes to the people that are already dominating your industry, study the fuck out of them. What do they do that works so well? Like, even as a rapper, like, even if I was studying J. Cole, it's like, what are the flows that he uses that are really captivating? What's the subject matter that he covers that really entices the audience to come back for more and regard him as one of the highest, the most highly regarded rappers? Or Russ, like, is he using auto-tune? Is he using auto-tune for his songs? Or how does he come up with his catchy melodies or something like that? Like, how is his melody so captivating to the ear? How do these artists that I aspire to be, how do they do their thing and do it so fucking well? Don't copy it. Don't imitate it. But just look to how they do what they do that people love, and put your own spin on it. Be authentic to you. I think that's why my music career has taken so long to gain any real traction, because I've never tried to be like anybody else. I could have taken the grime approach or the drill rap approach or something like that and rapped real fast without saying anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd prefer to bring substance and quality rather than a cheap gimmick. I love drill and it's really good, but it's just not what I'm about. So shout out to all the people that do drill. But yeah, study the greats, study what they do, and then do what they do. but like your own way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The worst thing you can do is to try and just copy someone to a T, because the longevity of that choice, it's not there, bro. It's just not there. You'll get maybe a little short-term gain. Like I could probably drop a drill track, diss track, fucking something or else about fucking 1-4 or some shit and get some cheap views or something, but no longevity in that. If I stay true to myself and develop a solid fan base, or a core fan base that know exactly what to expect from me, because it's me. It's authentically me. It's just me. Nobody's like it, because nobody's me. Do what's authentic to you, but study what the greats do and try and incorporate all those little tricks that they put in their music and what makes their music good. Analyze your music compared to theirs. See if the quality's there. If it's not, keep going. But again, just do it. Like, release the songs, move on, just do it. Nobody's going to look back at your catalog and go, oh, but that song you dropped like 9 years ago wasn't even good. It wasn't even fucking good. I can't believe he dropped a song like that. That's terrible. I used to like him as an artist. Not anymore, even though his new music's pretty good. Fuck that guy. No one's going to say that. No one's going to be like that. No one's going to look back and go, he should have been better back then. They're only going to remember the good things that you did. So don't worry about releasing a flop of a track or whatever like that. You don't know what music's going to resonate with people. That's one thing I've noticed. The songs that I thought would take off didn't. Songs that I didn't think would take off, that I didn't regard as like my better songs, very popular. I don't know how it works. It just is what it is. So yeah, be authentic to you, but study the greats and keep that quality up.
Yeah, definitely great pieces of advice there, man. Yeah, spot on with everything you said as well. It's like, study the greats, be you. No one looks back at, your old stuff and says it's shit. Like, they say your shit, I should say. It's just like they focus on the new stuff, and, it's about growing your audience and the foundation of it, as you're talking about there. And so it's a solid foundation. So they come with you no matter where you go.
Yeah. I sort of relate it to like social situations even. So I've had my fair share of like social anxiety and whatnot. And if I let's say I go to like a party or I go to work and I'm like, we're not every single day are we the best versions of ourselves. Are we the best socially interacting? Are we all that jazz? So I take it like this, like even if I were to not show up as the best version of myself to a certain interaction, I don't go home and like stew on it and be like, fuck, I should have said that. Or if I said that, maybe if I told that joke, maybe people would have laughed, or like shit like that. I don't stew on that, because literally 2 days later, no one fucking remembers. No one cares. No one cares. Everyone's just doing their own thing as well as they can. So I try not to judge myself too heavily. I just know that I come from an authentic place. So yeah, everything. If you just come from an authentic place and keep doing it, I think you'd be all right.
100%, man. And yeah, cheers for coming on today, man. You've even inspired me today. So with a few little tasks for a little task that I need to do as well. So
my pleasure. I mean, it's 1 PM, but I'm gonna go make my bed after this.
That's it.
I appreciate that.
Well, welcome, dude. Cheers.
All right, cheers for tuning in today's podcast today, guys. Give it a like, comment, let us know what you think and all that jazz. Also, too, if you think it will value a friend, feel free to share it with them. What else too? If you want to support the podcast that little extra bit, feel free to head over to my website at www.mitchellcrocker.com to purchase a t-shirt, or head over to Patreon, which I'll link that down and below. And if there's any way that I can support you guys at all, feel free to send me a DM, and any of my social media sites, or head over to mitchellcrocker.com for all my services and programs and all that kind of stuff. You need that extra support and all that. But yeah, thank you again for tuning in to today's podcast today, guys. Couldn't do this without you. But yeah, so peace.